Time now for Comfort Time Live. Comfort Time Live is a call-in radio show educating you on issues surrounding your home. Don't become a statistic. Listen in and find out how you can protect yourself. Comfort Time Live. Comfort Time Live. And now, here's your host, your personal comfort consultant, tackling all of your home comfort issues. Here he is, Tom Platania.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Comfort Time Live. As you heard, I'm Tom Platania, your host, and we have an absolutely great show for you today. But remember, you can always watch and listen to Comfort Time Live on ComfortTimeLive.com. Thanks for that applause, Cliff. I needed that today.
You're welcome. Yeah,
I actually worked very hard today for the first time in probably 2 or 3 days.
I got to work with you part of that
did.
time. That's
Yeah,
right,
we
that's
worked
right.
it out. I'll tell you,
Your
really
big
good.
home studio is almost ready.
We
to
are rocking
get
and
fired
rolling.
up. Huh?
The only thing we need to do is actually do it live and see if it really works.
All the tests have passed positive.
Yes, so far. So we got that going. This way we won't have any technical difficulties from home anymore. But hopefully we'll just have all kinds of great guests and we won't have to do the show from home.
That's right. And if it sounds like a technical difficulty, we'll probably just do it on purpose, just for old time's sake.
Yeah, just we don't want Comfort
really
Time
make
Live to
mistakes.
look that good.
That's right.
People will actually start listening.
You see, people will want perfection every time.
Exactly.
But then
that's what
all
I
right.
tell the
But
girls
that's all
I
right.
date. If I told you that and open the door every single time,
I
you
know,
would expect it.
But you can't brag to all these girls about all these other girls. It don't work.
Oh, well, the weather today, I tell you, we got hit with some nasty little rain. And I tell you, raining on your home, if you don't protect yourself, boy, you can really make a mess. And I tell you, we're going to be talking tonight. We got a really special guest. We're going to be talking tonight about protecting your biggest asset in your home. And I'm not talking about your wife. I'm talking about your
I did
roof.
not say that.
I'm talking about your roof. And who we have with us? We have John Browne with us from Roof-A-Cide. John, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great, Tom. Thank you for having me.
Oh,
I appreciate it.
Pleasure. So, hey, listen, if you want to go to ComfortTimeLive.com, you can see what John looks like in his studio. All debonair-looking guy. Actually, probably looks pretty professional considered some of the people we've had on the show. So he didn't shave for us, but that's okay. I don't think I did either. But
You can't see that on the webcam.
You can't see that? That's
No,
true.
no.
That's true. All right, so ComfortTimeLive.com, and you can watch and listen to us here at WPSL. We're going to be talking with John. John's going to tell us a little bit about, well, how you can protect your roof properly with a special product that they have, invented. So I guess the first thing we want to look at is, what causes roofs to get dirty and why do they look dirty?
Well, typically the roofs are looking dirty, especially down here in South Florida. They look dirty because of a specific form of algae that's prone to growing on roofs. It's not the regular type of algae that you might see, like green, slimy algae on your pool cage or your pool furniture.
Or some of the food I cooked?
Some of the food you cook.
All of the food
Not
you
all.
cook.
But this type of algae grows on virtually every type of roof, whether it be stone-coated steel, concrete tile, clay tile, asphalt shingle, even your plastic or vinyl membrane roofs. It grows all over the place on roofs. And what we've developed is an EPA-approved and approved by the Florida Department of Agriculture, an algicide that specifically targets that particular algae so that we can eliminate that algae. We can prevent it from growing again,
Right.
at least for a couple of years, and we can do it in a way that's not toxic to the environment.
Oh, okay. So keeping the roof clean, and now a lot of these algae and stuff that you're mentioning, can they harm the actual composites of the roof, the structural materials of the roof? Can some of them harm them, or most of the ones you're talking about are harmless? They just look nasty and can cause other issues.
Yeah, for the most part, the algae that we deal with down here in South Florida is going to be basically an aesthetic issue. Now, the roof materials manufacturers haven't done any study, probably because they're not concerned what the results are. But common sense would tell you if the roof is darker, if you have let's say a beige tile roof, and that roof is black, it's going to draw more heat. Heat's not only going to raise your cooling costs or raise the temperature inside and your cooling costs, But any type of heat is going to break down the surface a lot faster than it normally should. If it's a white roof or a beige roof, if you kept it that color,
Right.
you're going to minimize the heat. But the actual physical growth of the algae, aside from those factors, is not going to harm the roof in any noticeable way, shape, or form. Not here in Florida. When you
Right.
get up north,
Okay.
then you have different types of growths on roof, algae, moss, and things like that.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, lichens and moss. And those can damage most roof systems. You
And
need
a
to
lot
make
of our
sure.
listeners actually have homes up north too, so that's
Oh, yeah,
just great.
definitely,
Now, your
definitely.
product, you can get your product anywhere.
No, our product is exclusive. We have a network of.
Well, I mean anywhere as far as like any state.
Oh, yeah.
For a specific. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's specific. Yeah, we'll talk about. I know what you're going to get
Excellent.
to on that. We'll talk about that one in a second. But tell me a little bit about your background, John. What got you into this business? What did you do before?
Yeah, well, before I became a partner in Roof-A-Cide, I had a really successful career in country clubs and property management. I ran some of the largest or POAs and country clubs here in South Florida. And we were fighting a constant battle with the roof cleaning. As a matter of fact, with one property, I was the CFO at the property, and we were paying about $150,000 every single year to keep the roofs clean.
Oh my gosh.
And our director of maintenance came to me one day and said, John, I'm looking at this product that says if we put this on the roofs, we don't have to clean the roofs every year. Now, being in that industry, especially in the high-end country clubs, you get approached by vendors making claims all the time.
Oh,
And,
yeah, absolutely.
they've all got the fabulous new product. So I was really skeptical. But after I looked at it and I followed it for a couple of years, I said to myself that I'm running one property here in South Florida, and there are tens of thousands of properties like this all over Florida.
Right.
And now that I knew how the product worked and I had confidence in it, and I did a little research on the EPA background and the EPA approvals that it had, the product was being used by a relatively small couple of companies in Broward County. And then I became a partner. And then from that, started in 1992. I think I got involved with it about 1998. We took it from about 3 little companies in Broward County to, all over Florida now. And we're in about 16 states. And
Very, very nice. Now, if you folks have any questions for John, give us a call here at the studio, 772-340-1590. And you can ask John questions about roofs, and also, it looks like we have a question here from a disgruntled listener. It says, my HOA has threatened to... Well, this is good. My HOA has threatened to kill me over my dirty roof. What should I do? I say do absolutely nothing. I really would love to buy popcorn for everybody to see if they actually
We
do
can at
this.
least sell tickets.
We are selling tickets for $1 to see if...
Was that a homeowners association or a condo association?
HOA here.
Okay.
Well, he is old enough to be in a condo association, not a homeowners association. So this individual we're talking about, right?
Yeah. You would think that. Well, no.
340-1590 if you got a question for John. All right, so one question I want to ask is, you mentioned EPA. What are the benefits of the product being approved by the EPA?
Well, the main benefit is that you have a little bit more assurance that the product that's being used on your roof is not going to have any negative impact to the environment. Let's say, so when I say EPA approval, I'm not saying generically that we have an EPA approved product. Our product is approved by the EPA specifically for use on the roofs.
Oh, okay.
Which is different, because you have some companies that they'll take a generic algicide that they may get at Home Depot and they'll spray that on people's roofs. Well, one, that's not approved. That's actually illegal. But two, you're not getting a product that was designed, tested, and proven like ours.
Right. Now, why couldn't I just take my little squirty spray bottle that I have and fill it with water and 6 gallons of bleach and go up on my roof and
You could do that, and a lot of people do. Here's why you shouldn't do it, though. One, because bleach is very corrosive. And in order to get the roof clean with bleach, you have to up the concentration of the chlorine to levels that are not going to be safe for you to use,
Okay.
and they're not going to be safe for your actual roof. So we hear this all the time with people, competitors that try and discredit us. They say, well, the bleach is not going to harm the asphalt shingle. It's not going to harm a concrete tile. And I say, yes, that's true. But that's not the only thing that makes up a roof. You have metal, you have nails, you have valleys, you have flashings. And the bleach will be destructive the moment it comes in contact with those surfaces. And as you mentioned before, in addition to the EPA approvals, we've also worked with the largest manufacturers of every roof type in the U.S., and we're approved by every single one of them.
Wow. Okay, looks like we do have a caller. We have Steve, I guess that's in West Palm Beach. Steve, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing awesome. Thanks for calling to Comfort Time Live. You're here with John from Roof-A-Cide. Do you have a question for John or another question?
Yes, very interesting. I'm a president of an association in West Palm Beach, and we've actually been familiar with Roof-A-Cide, but there's been some new Johnny-come-latelys that have said they have a similar product. And we were just wondering if John knew anything about these new products that were claiming to be equal to his product.
Yeah, well, the new products come and go all the time. The difference between, let's say, our product and any other product on the market is going to be the fact that not only are we EPA approved and approved by every major roof materials manufacturer in the country, but more importantly, especially, you know, when we get into the HOAs and the condo associations, we have a product that's been proven over the last 20 years. So there are other technologies out there that can keep a roof clean longer, but they're going to be much more expensive, and there's not one of them yet that's been tested and has the proven track record that ours has.
So what kind of questions could Steve specifically and other homeowner associations, you know, what we pride ourselves in is asking these companies questions to get answers. So if Steve's sitting in front of one of these other companies, what questions should he ask them, okay, that not necessarily discredit their product, but to show to Steve that, well, no, it's not going to do that, it's not going to do that, but Roof-A-Cide does do that.
Yeah, and we don't want to discredit anybody that's out there, but once people start making comparisons, or we're dealing with a board of directors or even a contractor that really wants to legitimately know what the differences are, what they should ask is, well, if somebody's going to tell you that it's EPA approved, then you have a specific EPA number.
Show me.
Ask me. It's for
exactly
you're a contractor. You say you're licensed.
And insured. I want to see it. That's a good one. I like that.
Exactly. And then if they say, well, it's going to work just as long, well, do you have references? Because we have tens of thousands of them. And so if somebody's going to make the comparison to our product and our process and say it's just like Roof-A-Cide, well, why don't you show me 10,000 customers that have been happy for the last 10 years? And then maybe we'll see that you might be comparable, but nobody's at that level yet.
John, can I ask you another question?
Sure.
So one of these competitors, by the way, we used Roof-A-Cide last time, and it's been 3 years, and we don't have a drop of mildew on our roofs, but because it's coming up again, I have to have other bidders to compete against your company. Okay. So I wanted to ask you, they say they're eco-friendly, but what about like a residual or a written warranty? I mean, do these companies, should I ask them about that?
Well, you know, because I have a background in running HOAs and POAs, I would tell you that don't believe a word that you hear. Believe everything that you read. If somebody's willing to put these claims in writing and actually sign it, then it should have some validity to it. But if they're going to tell you that it's eco-friendly, if they're going to tell you that it's going to last 3 years, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, you're really being foolish as a board member if you just accept that, you know, as truth. You know, you have to be skeptical. It's your fiduciary responsibility to be skeptical and make sure that you fully vet the claims before you make a commitment and you start, you know, investing $100,000, $200,000 of your community's money into a product that you're really not sure about.
Now, your product does have a written warranty, correct?
Absolutely. And we take it a step further. All of our applicators are licensed, trained, and equipped by us. So everybody's using the same equipment. They have the exact same chemicals.
You actually train your people to use your product? What a concept.
Yeah, imagine that. Huh?
You mean I can't go down to Labor Finders and throw a squirty backpack on the guys?
No, but you'd be amazed at how many people do that and then tell the homeowner they're using Roof-A-Cide. But the companies that work with us are all trained. They're all backed by us. They offer all of their customers an actual warranty.
Excellent.
But when our product is used by our authorized applicators, every single customer, whether they're done in the Florida Keys, out in Knoxville, Tennessee, or up in Connecticut, or here on the Treasure Coast, they're going to get a warranty on our letterhead.
Nice.
And that warranty, it was designed by me because of the warranties that I saw when I was in property maintenance.
Right.
It's very simple. There is no fine print. It's one page. Your roof will stay clean.
Excellent. Steve, does
All right,
that
well,
help you
thank
out a
you.
little bit?
That was fabulous. And I don't mean to be a hog, but I have just one more question.
No, absolutely. That's what we're here for, Steve.
We had our roofs done by a company named
Okay, that's fine.
But is Roof-A-Cide given to paint contractors, or is it basically to roofers?
No, we work with different types of companies all over the country. Some of them are roofing contractors, some of them are painting contractors, some are pressure cleaners, some are GCs. And we actually have a couple of companies that focus on nothing other than just applying the Roof-A-Cide. Mm-hmm. But we're very, very selective about the companies that we do deal with. And so for particular areas, let's say Orlando, we deal with Collis Roofing up in Orlando. They're one of the largest roofing contractors in the country. They're probably one of the few roofers that we're going to allow to use our product in Orlando. And then when we get into other areas, we partner up with companies that have a specialty and have a foothold in a particular market that we want to be in. For instance, Coastal Painting is our exclusive applicator for Palm Beach County. Other painting companies that use our product may occasionally do a property here and there in Palm Beach County, but 99.99% of the HOAs, condo communities, or POAs that are being done with Roof-A-Cide in Palm Beach County right now by a painting company are being done by Coastal. And Coastal's been with us for about a decade now, and they are not only a professional company when it comes to painting, but I was on property at a community that they were doing last week, and the board president actually stopped me to thank me for bringing Coastal into the community because they had 3 trucks. The board president was so appreciative of the fact that those crews were so professional and so knowledgeable about what they were doing.
Steve, you were happy with Coastal too?
Oh yeah, they were great, but I'm having pressure from my board of directors now because I don't understand why they're just not going to stick with this. But they said I have to have competitive bids. That's the law. So we have a sizable community with 500 homes.
Well, one of the things that
Steve, hold on a second. Steve, if you have some more questions, you're more than welcome to stay in line. We got to go ahead and take a break though with some of our sponsors.
Well, thank you guys very much.
But okay, no problem, Steve. I appreciate it. But we're here with John Browne from Roof-A-Cide. You're listening to Cover Time Live, 340-1590. We'll be right back.
Elite Electric. We can do it. Elite Electric. There's nothing to it. Elite Electric. Ooh, amazing. Elite Electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie, woogie.
Elite Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family-owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at eliteelectricandair.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live every Thursday evening at 6:05 on WPSL 1590.
No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite. And we'll get the job done. We can do it. Elite Electric. There's nothing to it. Elite Electric.
No one expects disaster to happen to them, but when it does, you can be sure United Water Restoration will be there when you need them the most. They've been helping people put their homes and their lives back together for more than 15 years. With 24/7 service and 45 minutes to your door response time, you can trust United Water Restoration with your mold, water, fire, and smoke damage. Call for a free in-home inspection and estimate at 888-535-4909. United Water Restoration.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast.
And now back to Comfort Time Live. Once again, here's your host, Platania.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you've refreshed those beverages. Perhaps a nice little Grey Goose with a splash of cranberry, or maybe a nice little Pinot Noir, to wash down the nice little filet mignon that you're making.
And as long as you can walk a straight line and touch your nose and your ear at the same time.
Hey, if you're at your house listening to Comfort Time Live right now, hey, it doesn't matter how many you have.
Turn the
Whatever makes you happy.
down a couple of degrees and enjoy the show.
Don't forget 340-1590, the number to call here if you have a question like Steve did for John with Roof-A-Cide. And don't forget, you can go to ComfortTimeLive.com and you can watch John and I in the studio, and you can always replay any part of the show that you may have missed. Perhaps there was a question that Steve asked that you didn't hear the answer. Well, you can go back to the archives right there on Comfort Time Live. And this show is going to stay on the front page for the whole entire week until the next show. And you can go back and watch it. 340-1590. Now, Roof-A-Cide is a very cost-effective and eliminates the damage caused by repeated roof cleanings. So the question I have with that is, Roof-A-Cide is not a cleaning?
Exactly. Roof-A-Cide is designed as a preventative measure. Now, we get roofs clean. We clean roofs all the time, and we do it just as good, if not better, than anybody else in the country.
Okay.
The difference is we're experienced enough to recognize that no matter how carefully you clean a roof,
right,
if you're going to continue to clean it every year or every 2 years, you're going to be putting unnecessary wear and tear on the roof. Okay. And what we're trying to do is avoid that.
So Roof-A-Cide is it a sealant? Is it a cleaning agent?
It's not a sealant. It could be used as a cleaning agent. Okay. As a matter of fact, for the first 10 years, we didn't have a way to clean asphalt shingle roofs, and we weren't going to use bleach, and you can't pressure clean those roofs. So we would just apply the Roof-A-Cide to those roofs and let the homeowners know that it's going to take a couple of weeks, months, for the rain to actually wash the algae off. And we still do that on a lot of communities because the price difference between, let's say, just treating 800 homes versus cleaning and treating 800 homes is going to be quite substantial. So it can be used as a cleaning agent, but its primary function is as a preventative.
As a preventative. So if somebody does have a roof with algae and things of that nature on it, what should be the first step that they take? Should they immediately find someone who offers the Roof-A-Cide and just have the Roof-A-Cide applied, or do your people who offer your product know the proper maintenance to take the proper care to take care of it before they are?
Yeah, they're all trained to assess the situation, and they're all trained to clean the roofs properly. And
then put the product on, or they would use the product while they're cleaning?
Well, for cleaning, we have a product that we've developed called Roof Restore. Okay. Which is an environmentally friendly cleaning agent that can be sprayed on the roof and simply rinsed off.
Okay.
Now, depending on what the customer's particular needs are, because some of them, frankly don't want anybody up on the roof, or, there's going to be a cost differential between people actually cleaning the roof versus cleaning and treating.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, that's going to be a steep difference. If we're dealing with 700 homes and they want the roofs clean, and they want the roofs treated, well, that's going to cost a lot of money. So right. A lot of them opt to say, well, we'll just have them treated. They didn't get dirty overnight.
Right.
We're willing to be patient, and we're willing to let nature take its course, and eventually the roofs will be clean, so it's not a big issue.
And what do you mean eventually the roofs will be clean?
Well, here in Florida, we're going to be looking at summer rains virtually every day at around 3 o'clock. Weather patterns seem to start to be changing, but typically we have our rainy season. And so when we're dealing with communities that want to cut their costs in half or just don't want to bite the bullet and pay for cleaning and treating, we'll recommend that we come in and spray those roofs down in, let's say, April or May. And then when the rains start in June, July, and August, by September, those roofs are clean.
Oh, okay. So basically, it's almost like a self-cleaning agent.
It is. It is.
Oh, okay. I like the sound of that.
And the reason we don't promote it as much is because, we've got a lot of experience in this. And I know from dealing with homeowners associations that when you're explaining to them how much money they're going to save by being patient and waiting,
right,
they're all for that idea. But when it comes time to actually be patient and wait, they're not happy anymore. So if we're going
that's not a shocker.
So if we're going to do that, we get involved with our applicators, we assess the roofs, and we give the homeowner options. Another instance is where we're dealing with an asphalt shingle roof. If that roof is approaching 10 years old, we don't want to clean it anymore.
Okay.
We'll just put the Roof-A-Cide on there because we don't want to put any unnecessary wear and tear on the roof. The roof's starting to age, and because it's getting older, just by rinsing it, you're removing more granules. And so we always advise the homeowner that that's a better idea is just wait. And this way you're not getting any unnecessary pressure or any unnecessary water flow over the roof.
All right, 340-1590, the number to call here if you have a question for John. Now, you started touching a little bit with Steve on the people who use your product. And
yes.
You and I, off air, you were talking to me about that you just can't walk into your local Walmart and buy your product. You can't just look through the Money Saver magazine and find a pressure washer there and expect that he's going to have the ability to offer Roof-A-Cide.
Exactly.
Tell me a little bit about it, because I was really impressed with what you said about that, because it kind of falls in line with what Comfort Time Live promotes.
Exactly. We're building a network not only across Florida but also across the U.S. Everything east of the Mississippi right now is experiencing this problem with algae growth, and most of them have no idea what to do about it. But down here in Florida, the HOAs, the condos, they've been telling homeowners for decades,
right,
your roof is dirty, get it clean. So when we developed this product, we decided that we're not going to make it available to just anybody, because if you lived in Florida long enough, then you've run across contractors, and chances are you run across a lot of contractors that you just don't want to deal with. And we're no different.
There's bad, unethical, unlicensed contractors in Florida?
Unless they're all targeting me, I think the problem's pretty widespread.
I had no clue there was anybody like that in Florida or anywhere else.
So when we decided that we're going to offer this, we made sure that we didn't really want to put it on the shelves of Home Depot or Lowe's or Walmart. We didn't want it widely available. We didn't want just any contractor using it. We wanted to make sure that when this product was used, the homeowners that were paying for it could be confident that it was going to be used properly, it's going to perform properly, it's going to be guaranteed to work. So we will only work with contractors that are licensed, trained, and equipped by us. These are what we call our authorized applicators. And anybody going out to our website can find the authorized applicator in their county.
So you have mandatory requirements of each of these people before they can use your product.
Exactly. And before somebody can become an authorized applicator, we're vetting their company. We're making sure they've been in business long enough, that they know what they're doing, that they have workers' comp, they have insurance. We don't dive deeply into their financials, but we make sure that we're dealing with a financially stable company.
I tell you, I love that. Yeah. I really do. I mean, being with some of the big manufacturers, they would start off in our meetings talking to us about, we want to make sure we got good people.
Yeah.
But then when it came time for the end of the month,
mm-hmm.
man, all that stuff went out the window. It was like, whoever's got a pulse and they'll buy the product. That's why some of these manufacturers get such horrible reputations.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Goodman's been one of those. They've gotten a horrible, horrible reputation because they will sell to anybody with a pulse. They don't make sure that they're trained. They don't none of that stuff. They don't even care if they're licensed, most of them.
Yeah, and I've run across. I've actually had HOA, homeowners association board members arguing with me in board meetings because they have a painting contractor that they want to use, but they want Roof-A-Cide on the roof as well. And I say, well, that contractor's not approved by us. They're not authorized.
He's going to slap it on. It's not going to be done properly. And in 6 months down the road, you're going to be knocking on my door, mad as could be, saying that your product doesn't work right.
Exactly. And this particular HOA, it was down in here in South Florida. It was 1,000 homes. They wanted their contractor to put my product on, and they wanted me to guarantee it. And I said, no, life doesn't work that way.
Oh, my gosh. All right, well, we're going to go to Dennis online. Hey, Dennis, how you doing today?
Good. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good, young man. Thank you for calling Cover Time Live. We're here with John Browne with Roof-A-Cide. You got a question for the young man?
Hi, John. This is Dennis. I have a question. Does your product work on metal roofs? And if so, how often should you clean a metal roof?
It'll work on some types of metal roofs. We're approved by the largest manufacturers of stone-coated steel, which is, it is a metal roof, but they're designed to look more like asphalt shingles or concrete or clay tiles, but they're actually metal roofs. We're approved, and we use our product all the time on that, especially, since the largest installer of stone-coated metal roofs in Florida works with us as a Roof-A-Cide applicator. So it can definitely be used on there, but it does have some limitations. Your standing seam metals or your non-coated metals, your flat panel roofs, the chemical can't penetrate those roofs. It can't bind to those surfaces. So if you have those types of roofs, you probably got told that they're never going to get dirty, and that's not true at all. They are going to get dirty. But you're pretty much stuck, finding a reputable company that's licensed and insured to come out and very lightly pressure clean the roof once a year. You won't be able to put a cost-effective type of sealer or coating on there that's going to be effective.
Because it has to adhere to something.
Yeah, it has to.
Otherwise, it just kind of runs off, and the minute it rains, it runs off, and it's got nothing to attach itself to.
Exactly. It's similar to, let's say, your pool cage. If you have a backyard pool cage, the pool cage is always going to get dirty. There's nothing that you can put on there that's really going to prevent it from getting moldy or prevent anything from growing on it long term. You're stuck pretty much pressure cleaning that thing once a year. And your metal roof is basically the same kind of surface. So unfortunately, we can't help people with standing seam roofs, but stone-coated metal we do all the time.
Thanks a lot, John. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for
Have
calling.
a good evening, gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you calling Cover Time Live. 340-1590 if you'd like to call in and ask John a question like Dennis and Steve did. That actually makes a lot of sense. So it's not necessarily your product. Mm-hmm. It's the point that, it's like me trying to pour water on this Formica top here.
Yeah,
it's
as long as the Formica is working and doing its job, the water's not going to penetrate the depths.
Right. So it shouldn't have an issue with the algae and the things of that nature. I mean, what kind of stuff could get on a metal roof? I mean, really?
I know everybody at home can't see it, but I've got a picture on my phone of my neighbor's roof right across the street, and he has one of those standing seam metal roofs that it's unfinished, so just basically bare metal.
Right.
And I know from going to the roofing conventions every year, when these guys are selling the roofs, they're telling customers these are maintenance-free roofs.
They're salespeople.
And they're not maintenance-free roofs.
You're never going to see me again once you.
I was over at my neighbor's house the other day. I was bringing in his trash cans, and I looked up and I saw, he's got this roof. The roof is only like 4 or 5 years old, and that roof is filthy. He's never asked me to clean it because he knows I don't actually get up there and clean roofs. And plus, he's got a 2-story roof with a metal roof that you can't walk on. There's no traction. Nobody in their right mind is getting up there. You got to get a lift, so it's going to be a ridiculously expensive job. But when I saw his roof like that the other day, I just had to take a picture because I just got back from the Orlando roofing show for the Florida roofing contractors. And once again, we run into the same guys selling the panels, and they say, well, the roofs never get dirty. And I laugh, and I say, Gerard with the stone-coated metal used to tell me that 10 years ago, too. But we all know that's not right.
Well, we're going to go ahead and take another quick break so we can hear from our sponsors. You're with John Browne from Roof-A-Cide on Cover Time Live, 340-1590 if you'd like to call in and ask John a question. We'll be right back.
Electric specializes in all of your electrical needs, from security lighting to surge protection and everything in between. How do you think they got their name? Elite Electric. Elite Electric has been family-owned and operated on the Treasure Coast since 1988, and they're recommended by Comfort Time Live. Visit online at EliteElectricAndAir.com and learn more about their services. Elite Electric. Service today. Proud sponsor of Comfort Time Live every Thursday evening at 6:05 on WPSL 1590.
No matter what you want, just pick up your phone, say, come on, Elite.
And we'll get the job done.
We can do it.
Elite Electric.
There's nothing to it.
Elite Electric.
No one expects disaster to happen to them, but when it does, you can be sure United Water Restoration will be there when you need them the most. They've been helping people put their homes and their lives back together for more than 15 years. With 24/7 service and 45 minutes to your door response time, you can trust United Water Restoration with your mold, water, fire, and smoke damage. Call for a free in-home inspection and estimate at 888-535-4909. United Water Restoration.
6:43 at WPSL. Coming up at 11 o'clock tonight on AM 1590 football coverage tonight. 11 o'clock USC at Hawaii. Every exciting play-by-play action starting at 11 o'clock. Have a good all-nighter, folks. Right now back to Comfort Time Live. Once again, here's Tom Platania.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're here with John Browne from Roof-A-Cide. 340-1590, the number to call. And we have Larry in Fort Pierce on line one. How you doing, Larry?
Oh, doing good. Thank you very much for asking that. You know, I had a question. I had about a 2,200 square foot home, and how much would that you're talking there for? To have Roof-A-Cide to protect my home?
Under $50,000.
You know what? I got a check written out right now.
Well, just to prove what a reputable company we are, we're not going to take that check.
Oh,
well, that's
so
you.
Make it for 60. I thought
hey,
maybe
make it out to
50.
Comfort Time Live or Tom Platania, you know.
But
Tom, who?
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a question that comes up a lot. You know, people assume because we sing great praises about it that it's got to be a whole lot more expensive than what's already out there, but it's not. Now, we as the manufacturer, I can't tell you what you're going to be charging. I cannot, tell our companies or our applicators what they can charge, but I can give you a roundabout estimate of what the market
that'll be
rate
fine.
is.
Thank you, sir.
You're going to be looking in Fort Pierce, probably somewhere in the area about 9 to 10 cents a square foot. So just to deal with round numbers, let's say it's 10 cents a square foot and your house is 20 square or 2,000 square foot. You're looking at about $200, which is probably the rate that you're paying right now for somebody to clean it. And you're getting no guarantees that it's going to stay clean for any length of time. You're not getting any guarantees that they're not going to kill all your bushes or damage your roof at the same time.
$200.
Yeah.
Roughly, yeah.
That's not too bad.
No, that's a great price.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, if you go out to our website, we have all of our applicators listed there. And like I said, I can't tell you what they're going to charge. But we have a suggested retail price, that we put out there. But every market's going to be different. If you're in a very competitive market like a Palm Beach County or Tampa, their prices are going to be lower than somebody who's doing it, let's say, in Middle Pennsylvania.
That's very reasonable. I appreciate that.
And before
I can call.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, before you start selling a house, Larry, you can tell your client that they should go ahead and have Roof-A-Cide taken care of on the roof so that they could have that curb appeal.
Boy, that's a good idea.
Definitely.
All right, yeah, Larry, the number you want to call now, this phone number is directly to Roof-A-Cide, and they'll guide you in the right direction based on the information. But, of course, Roof-A-Cide, they do not offer the product to the homeowners. You have to get it through their vendors. But the number to call Roof-A-Cide directly is 800-806-6727. That's 800-806-6727.
Well, thank you very much. I just want to tell you also, I've been enjoying your show. It's very informative. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
I appreciate it, Larry. You have a great night, and thanks for calling Comfort Time
Great
Live.
show. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Okay, now there are some websites here that we're going to make it easy for you folks to also go online and take a look at it. Now, are each of these websites do they bring them to the same place? Are they all different sites, or?
No, they're all different.
All different. Okay.
Our main website is Roof-A-Cide.com, but we always get the question, well, how do you spell that? And
there you go. It's good, and they've created some really good websites. I like this, and this makes a lot of sense because this way, when somebody's just in there typing stuff in, it's going to bring them. So, 4 of the websites we have is PreventRoofStains.com, KeepMyRoofClean.com, CommunityRoofs.com, and NoMoreRoofCleaning.com. I like that. So, I mean, you could pretty much mess up and put all kinds of stuff in, and you're going to come up with your website. That's really good.
Exactly. And because the name of our product is a little complicated or a little out of the ordinary, you can mess up the name Roof-A-Cide 7 different ways, and it's still going to take you to our site.
Beautiful.
We've had to register it misspelled every different way.
Right.
But I think with the new domains that we've got set up here, they point you to the same information.
Yeah, this is for the people who don't know Roof-A-Cide.
Yeah. And
if I've got stains on my roof, I'm going to go on there, well, how do I prevent stains? Yeah. Boom. PreventRoofStains.com is going to pop up.
Or if you're like one of these homeowners that gets a threatening letter from the HOA and you're really tired of getting your roof cleaned, well, go to NoMoreRoofCleaning.com. Find out how you don't have to deal with this anymore.
I think that is brilliant. Now Roof-A-Cide.com is ROOF, and then it's got the little hyphen. That's what you call that thing, right?
Yeah.
Hyphen A, the letter A, hyphen CIDE, Roof-A-Cide.com. But you can haphazardly type in any one of these other ones, PreventRoofStain.com, KeepMyRoofClean.com, CommunityRoofs.com, and NoMoreRoofCleaning.com. And I tell you, if you're a homeowner, I like that one right there, NoMoreRoofCleaning.com. When my father was alive, he lived down in Miami, and he had a barrel tile roof.
Oh.
And the neighbors used to tell me all the time and he was 65 when he passed away, but how, every couple of years or every year he'd get up there and try to clean those barrel tile roofs with his chemicals and stuff like that. And it's good that unfortunately he passed away, but it's good that that's not what killed him. So
that kind of underscores why we deal with reputable companies too, because there's no two ways about it. If you're getting up on the roof, you're doing a dangerous job, and you got to make sure that you're working with companies that know what they're doing,
right,
take the proper precautions, and also have the proper licenses and insurance to be doing that work.
Now how many different HOAs are using you folks on the Treasure Coast?
We're relatively new on the Treasure Coast, meaning we just started pushing up here probably about 5 years ago. I believe we have about 90 on the Treasure Coast right now.
90 HOAs are using your product?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot more. When you go down south of the Martin County line, when you get into Palm Beach County and Browne,
right,
it's phenomenal the amount of HOAs and POAs and condo associations that are using this because, like we discussed,
right,
for the average homeowner, this is a real pain to get up there, clean your roof, or if you live in an HOA that's going to send you a letter telling you that you got to get your roof cleaned, you're not going to be happy. But if you're one of the property managers that think, you've got take that problem and multiply it by about 500 times.
I can just imagine. All right, well, we're going to go ahead to Jane and Sebastian. Jane, welcome to Comfort Time Live with John Browne from Roof-A-Cide. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I love this show. This is awesome. And I was just curious, is this chemical, would that affect my grass and my flowers around my house?
No, because the chemical is it's a copper-based algicide. The only effect it's going to have on your grass and your flowers is that it's actually going to make them healthier. In the concentrations that we use it's not going to have any kind of damaging effects. It's actually going to act as a nutrient. Now, if you do have very sensitive flowers that are actually flowering, our applicators know and they're trained to make sure that those flowering plants are protected, they're rinsed down, and they're not sprayed directly with the chemical because I think orchids come to mind. Orchids are a very, very sensitive plant. They're not used to copper. If you spray copper on it when it's in bloom, the plant is just going to close up. It's not going to die, but if you have orchids, you want to see them when they're blooming. Mm-hmm. And so all of our guys are trained to know which plants might be sensitive. It's not going to kill any of them, but which plants, flowering plants, might be sensitive, and they take the appropriate precautions.
Also, I have another question. I have a pool enclosure, and it gets mold in the corners.
Mm-hmm. He's smiling. He was waiting for a question like this to pop up.
And I was wondering, would that help deter the mold that comes on makes it look so ugly?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is very similar to the metal roof. So let's just take your pool cage to start with. With the pool cage, our chemicals are not going to actually penetrate the surface and bind to them like they would a concrete surface, like a driveway or a concrete tile roof or a clay tile roof. In those instances, our chemicals actually soak through and they bind to the surface or to the product. But we can't penetrate the coating of those aluminum cages. So you're stuck pretty much just pressure cleaning them once a year.
I see.
Now,
so nothing is going to keep it pretty and white anymore.
Now, we do pool decks, depending on how they're surfaced. If you have, let's say, a cool deck, which is pretty popular down here, that's another product that's going to make it pretty much impossible for water to penetrate, and so our chemical won't penetrate that either.
I see.
But if you have a bare concrete, then this would be perfect for you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I feel much better about this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jane. I appreciate you calling Comfort Time Live. You have a great evening.
Oh, you guys too. It's an awesome show. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Okay. All right, no problem. So I'm getting the finger from the producer here.
Well, 7 of them.
7 of them now. Okay, so 9. That's impressive that you have that many HOAs, because HOAs are picky.
Well, I'll tell you,
and they should be particular. Just like you were saying to Steve when Steve called, is that you need to be overly cautious, because basically we as the members of the HOA are putting our fate in your hands.
And that's really why I got into this, because I'm an accountant by trade. And I went to.
You're awful talkative for an accountant. That's why you got out of the business. You talk. You're not an accountant. You talk too damn much.
Here's why I got out of that business. I was, an accountant by trade. I went to FAU. I spent 10 years in college to become an accountant, and then once I got out, I started working with all these HOAs and the POAs. And like I said, when we ran across this product, I knew it was good.
Right.
But when I started this, I started a roof cleaning company too, and all of my friends said, "You're an accountant. You're going to quit accounting to go open up a roof cleaning company. That sounds crazy." But I always did it with the HOAs and the POAs in mind, because,
Excellent.
like I said, I had a roof cleaning company, but I was not really focused on going out and cleaning 1 or 2 roofs today. I wanted to do 200 or 300 this week.
Now,
that's where we started from, and that's why we grow with that focus.
All right, excellent. Now, there's all kinds of literature and brochures, but now when you call the 1-800-806-6727, you're going to be directed. Now, go ahead and tell us what you're going to be directed to.
Well, we have a menu system so that you make a selection based on whether you're a homeowner, whether you're a property manager or a board member.
Please do not tell me that when I call the number and it goes to an automated system, that it tells me to push 1 for English.
Wait a minute. Wait.
I'm not gonna,
what language do they say that
all right,
in?
now I got you. No, we don't make any distinction on the language.
I can't stand that when I call and it tells me push 1 for English. No, why don't you?
While I encourage my daughter to be
if you have a different language, tell me to push a button for different language, but don't tell me to push a button for English.
We're going to tell you which button to push, depending on what type of customer you are. But you're going to get English, because that's the only language I'm knowing right now.
Oh, that frustrates me to no end. I'm okay with it, but if you want to put 20 different languages on there, but don't make me push a button for English.
If you were in an international market, it'd be different.
Well, actually, we are going international.
Oh, wow.
So,
so it'd be beneficial to have different languages.
That's true.
Well, but they're not going to be calling our 800 number. They'll be calling the 800 number in Colombia.
So they're going to be guided in the right direction based on whether they're an HOA or if they're a homeowner or different things like that.
Exactly, and we've set it up that way so that they get the right information, because each individual customer, whether you're a homeowner or a board member or a property manager or a contractor,
right,
you're looking for different information. And
Okay.
we don't want you to weed through, the 6-foot-tall grass to get to where you want to go. We with the website, with the phone numbers, we try to make it as easy as possible for people to get the information they're looking for quickly.
Well, 6-foot-tall grass is against HOA policy anyway. I think it's got to be 3 3/4 inches maximum.
You're probably right.
All right, so we got all kinds of great stuff. So Roof-A-Cide can help you. So if you have any problems with your home, shingle roofs, tile roofs, what did you call the type of a metal roof?
We call it stone-coated steel.
Stone-coated. So, I mean, and there's pictures on their website which are very impressive. And a lot of the homes in South Florida are asphalt shingle roofs, a majority of them.
Well, when you get down here into, let's say, South Florida, especially as you get, south of the Martin County line,
right,
you're going to be running across about 2/3 of them that are concrete or clay tiles.
Okay.
And then 1/3
That's right,
asphalt
because a lot of these more fancier communities, they're
Exactly.
mandatory, the tile roofs and stuff like that.
As you get north of Martin County, and especially as you get north of Florida,
Right.
then you're dealing with the majority being asphalt shingles.
Okay. All right, so remember again, if you want to give John Browne at Roof-A-Cide a call, what's your cell phone number, John?
Not giving that out.
Darn, I almost had him. You want to give Roof-A-Cide a call at 800-806-6727. Now, when you go to their website, roofacide.com, or any one of the other websites that we've talked about, you can actually do a dealer locator to find someone in your area that you can get an estimate from. They'll come out to your home, they'll take a look at it, and they'll kind of guide you in the right direction as to, well, what's the best thing for us.
Exactly. And as we talked about, some of the companies that we deal with are painting contractors. Large majority of them are roofing contractors. So whether you're dealing with a painting company or you're dealing with one of the roofing companies that use this, they're all offering maintenance programs so that not only are they applying the Roof-A-Cide on a regular basis, but if your roof is starting to get up there in age, it's getting to be about 10 years old, having somebody who's licensed and competent to actually be inspecting your roof at the same time is a really good idea.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, and you can always watch this show again on ComfortTimeLive.com. Now, something I want to let you folks know is Comfort Time Live is part of a new Treasure Coast radio network, and we've joined forces with 107.9, 1370, of course, 1590 WPSL, and not this coming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday will be our inaugural show on WSTU, Tuesday at 10 a.m. That is Stuart. So we are real excited. John, I want to thank you so much for being on the show.
It's my pleasure.
Very informative. We're going to join John from Roof-A-Cide, and we will be back next Thursday right here on Comfort Time Live on WPSL 1590. Don't miss us next week. We'll have another special guest.
Comfort Time Live with Tom Platania. It's just another one of the many reasons why WPSL Port St. Lucie is the top of the Treasure Coast.